Hi everyone, it's me, Colleen McCrae Katz, and today I'm going to show you how to make an Irish craft. I'm making a little gift basket for my grandson, who is just 3, almost 4 months old. And so today I'm going to be using some things that are suitable for a little baby, but you can do this with anything. And I'm just going to show you the items that I'm using, and then I'm going to show you the techniques that I use to make a gift basket. And these are techniques that you can use to make gift baskets for any occasion. But today, St. Patrick's Day, because of course St. Patrick's Day is 1 week away. So here we go. First we want to use a container. We want to determine what container we're going to use first, because that's going to determine the number and size of the items that you're going to need. And I found this little container for $1 on the little clearance aisle at Target. And it's sort of a greeny goldy color, so that's what I got. So next up, my grandson's going to be eating solid food soon, so I got him a little package of spoons, and they just barely squeeze into this little basket. And I still had some room left. I still had some room left, so I went to the dollar store and I found this little frog, and he's made by Rubbermaid, and he goes in the freezer, and I guess he could be used for boo-boos or to keep things cold in a lunchbox or in a baby's diaper bag or whatever. So he's going to go in there too. Things you need are some cellophane, some tissue. What I like to do is I like to tie my gift baskets up with tulle. So I always have 6-inch wide white tulle on hand, and that's my signature on my gift basket. You're going to need some clear packing tape. It's very key in wrapping your baskets in cellophane. The only actual tool, T-O-O-L, that you'll need for this project are a good pair of scissors. And if you invest in a nice pair of Fiskars scissors, they will last you for years. And occasionally at your Joann's fabric stores or other fabric stores, they'll have knife sharpening events. I advise you to watch for those, and when you have a good pair of scissors, take them in and get them sharpened from time to time. And also keep your fabric scissors separate from your paper other craft scissors. Right now I'm just going to cut about 12 to 18-inch wide piece of my tissue, my foil tissue, to put inside of my little basket. This is just a tiny little basket, and how much tissue you use is going to be determined by the size of your basket and the number of items and how much open space you're going to have. But I want this tissue to come up behind and around my items, so I'm going to cut about a 12 to 18-inch wide piece of tissue out of this, and now I'm going to show you what that looks like in just a minute. Okay, so I have my tissue cut. Now if you were dealing with a sheet of tissue paper, you'd probably use a half a sheet for this, because of the basket being so small. I'm going to fold it in half, and I'm going to cut it again. Now this basket's about 3 inches by 3 inches on the top, so it is rather small, so that's why I don't need much in the way of the tissue paper. Now here is one of my tricks with tissue paper, is to take them and to turn one on the opposite angle, so that when they come up, there's a lot of points and a lot of fluff on the top. So that's one of my hints on the tissue paper. Then I grab it in the middle, in the very middle of the paper at the bottom part, and I hold it like this. And I put it into my container and open it up. And you'll see how it comes up, and there's just a lot of points and a lot of fluff. And you open it up, and you take your largest, tallest item. That's going to be the back of your basket. That's going to be the back of your basket, and you want to put all your smaller items in front of it. So you want to place this in the basket first to try and... I'm going to need 2 hands for this, so I'm going to have to turn the camera off for just a second, and I'll show you in a minute. Okay, so we have our tallest item in there, and it's really a tight squeeze on this, so I'm going to have to manipulate it a little more, but I want to get my frog in, so we're going to try and get him in so he can sort of squeeze in the other one. Okay, so right now I'm going to have to put the camera down again because I have to manipulate the tissue, and this is where things get a little bit creative on the person who's making the baskets part. You take little pieces of tissue, additional pieces, and you stuff them in wherever you need them to fill in this basket. And I'll show you what what I do and how it looks. And you also crunch down where it needs to, or trim off with your scissors, however you need to do it to make it look good. I'll be back in just a minute. Alright, so I snipped and I stuffed and I crumpled and I bent and I folded, and this is how my basket looks now, and I think it looks pretty cute. So now we're getting ready to wrap it in cellophane, and this is, I learned a couple tricks along the way of wrapping baskets with cellophane. In order to make sure that your basket will be fully wrapped and surrounded in the cellophane, I always place my basket in the center of the cellophane and I try to pull it up to see if there's enough to come up over the top of the basket like this. I don't know if you can see my hand at the top. And there is here, and also enough on the sides to cover, and there is plenty of cellophane here to cover this basket. So I'll do that and tie it up, and what I do is I take about an 18-inch piece of my tool, a 24-inch piece of my tool I would say, and I tie the cellophane with that. I do not use wire, I do not use tape to keep the top closed. When people receive my basket, they can simply untie the tool and it will open. I find that to be really nice because this way they can easily access the items in the basket. So I'm going to do that and show you how that looks. Now that is the cellophane just tied, just one tie with the tool. In order to make a really nice bow, we're going to make some loops with the tool to tie onto there. Okay, so I went a little overboard on the bow. I made a 12 loop bow just by looping back and forth on either side, holding it in the middle with my hand, and then I tied it on. Now it's time to tape the sides, and what you do is you roll and you gather the cellophane. It's hard for me to film this, but you gather the cellophane like this, and then you tuck it under the bottom, and you take a piece of your packing tape and you tape it to the bottom. And I'm going to do that and show you how it looks in just a minute. Okay, so here are the rolled and taped sides of our basket. As you can see, it's very secure, it's very neat, and now we've just got to trim up the top. And what you do for that, the top of the cellophane, you just gather it up in your hand and trim it across straight. And there we have it, our finished St. Patrick's Day, first St. Patrick's Day gift basket. And I think it's pretty cute. And I think my grandson's really going to like it. And when you are able to give a gift like this, that makes such an impact, and I would suggest keeping your color scheme in mind when you choose your container, when you choose a color, then the items that go in the container should be in the same color. Mine was obviously St. Patrick's Day, so I went with green as much as possible. But any color will do. If you want to do pink or purple or blue or yellow or whatever, when you keep all the items in that same color, it really makes an impact, and it really makes it look nice. So that's my tutorial on gift basket making, and I hope you enjoyed it, and happy St. Patrick's Day.